Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Making the Rounds. And tonight we're making the rounds with Seawin
Hello.
and special guest Soundside, aka Kyle.
Good evening.
So, currently, what we're going to be reviewing or going over tonight at Making the Rounds, or this morning, whenever you're watching this video, No Game, No Life. I'm going to go ahead and go into the review of the series first, and then we'll pass the baton to Seawin, and he'll pass the baton to Kyle. So, characters. I love the main characters. It's right off the bat, you kind of, as a gamer myself, and sort of like a No Life, I kind of relate to them on many levels. So Sora and Shiro are awesome. I really enjoy the things they do as a protagonist as a whole, which is kind of weird to say because they're two separate characters, but combined they make a really interesting protagonist. The opening, when it comes to music, is super amazing, like a piano, but it also has like this guitar riff here and there, and it's a really awesome anime intro. For the story, I'm going to start off with a synopsis, and just by saying Sora and Shiro, like I previously said, are step-siblings and the main characters who are known in the gaming world as Blank, an undefeated group of gamers. One day, they are challenged into a game of chess by Tet, a god from another reality. The two are victorious and are offered to live in a world that centers around games, and basically the following episodes after the first episode expands upon that, and you get to see how rules work and how games are established and how they don't have to necessarily be a traditional game like chess or poker. They can be a game that the challenger makes up or the challengee gets to make up, however that works. I can't quite remember it, but it was really interesting. Like, it could be, don't say this word that has this thing in it, or you can only use this phrase when talking or something like that, and then whoever goes the longest wins, or basically whoever fails at the rules loses. That's how games kind of work. So, yeah. Would I recommend this to a friend? Yeah, I definitely would. I think it's a really awesome anime. It's only 12 episodes long. It's going to go for another season, so it might get longer than that. But currently, right now, when we're recording, it's 12 episodes long, so you can easily chunk that down in like a week or less. So it's very fun, entertaining. It's not too crazy, but it has just the right amount of crazy to enjoy for everybody. So yes, I would recommend this to a friend. And now I'm going to pass that baton to Seawin.
Alright. So you said 12 episodes or less. I'm going to go more on the less side of that. There's no way you will not binge through this series. I don't think it's possible. As someone who had to watch it week by week, if I had the ability to binge it, I would have probably finished it in 2 days. It's that entertaining. As you were talking about the story, the thing about this story is I feel like all these animes came out around the same time with this type of storyline. People get stuck in game. The twist with this one is they chose to go into this game world. They weren't forced in. They chose like, yeah, fuck it. We hate real life. Let's go into this. Because it follows their the NEET culture in Japan, which is people that just sit around, play games all day, and don't do anything, and don't go outside. So it's pretty interesting that they have that little twist in it. Every little puzzle and game in this story is really cool and really interesting. The world that they live in or the world that they go to, not live in, I guess that they move to, is really, really interesting and has all these unique races and stuff that you've probably never seen before, except for like a couple. So that's really cool, and each one has like their own war zone almost. The music was always really good. I rewatched the opening a second ago because Kyle sent me the opening, and it was just as good as I remember it. The animation is like amazing. If you have the option to watch this in HD, definitely go for that over anything else, because it just blows my mind how good the animation is. Characters are all super cool. No super stereotypical tropes in this, which I liked. The two main characters are hilarious, and the fact that they torture this poor little girl throughout the entire show also just makes it that much better. And yeah, I would recommend this to any single person that would ever want to watch anything ever. Kyle, what are your thoughts on the show?
Well, I'm gonna start off right away saying, on the note that you made with the world, how it's a very unique and interesting world, and I would definitely agree that if you had the option to watch this in HD, for sure, go for it. And one of those reasons is because the entire time I was watching, it was just so colorful. It popped out everywhere. It was a real eye grabber, and it was just beautiful for the best choice of words I could say. It was just a really well drawn, really well animated show. I don't really remember too much about each music. We did just watch the opening, and it does remind me, the music was always really good. But the one thing I definitely remember is anytime we hit an intense moment, I felt like the music had it right. It was just supporting it very well to the point where I wasn't distracted and I was still focused on the actual storyline. But my hair's standing up, my skin's crawling. It just had me really interested and really going. And that's also probably just because of the story. Like Jason said, that it all came out around the same time with that typical gaming world. But it does the thing differently too, where they know they're in this world where games exist, where games are the rules, where games are the laws, and things like that. And they use this in really unique ways. And like Zach said, they can basically make up whatever games they want and just come up with some really creative, but at the same time simple, ideas to just have some fun with it. Characters, I mean, the two main characters were just my favorite the entire way, and I feel like I don't see too many anime where they manage to get the duo that just kind of works like that. You kind of always feel like one leads more than the other, but in this one they worked well together and they complement each other. In fact, in a couple episodes you even see where Sora will let Shiro take over or things like that. They'll rely on each other, they'll go off each other's strengths. A lot of the supporting characters I felt they fell into a stereotypical role, but at the same time they had that as their role, so you didn't really ever see repeats of characters. Everyone kind of had their own unique personality or unique style to them. So that was kind of nice that they kind of branched out a bit and kind of hit everything. Would I recommend this to a friend? Definitely. In fact, Jason was the one who recommended it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
So it was totally worth it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Just as a warning, there will be some spoilers. We're not going to try. We're going to try our best not to spoil stuff when we do a roundtable talk. But FYI for the people who are listening, spoilers are ahead. Dude, it's such this anime more so. I think maybe because it embodies the neat sort of culture. Maybe it's a commentary, but it's all just very eye candy and very audio centric when it comes to being pleasing. The music, like you said, Kyle, previously, the score just worked thematically with everything. It
really did, yeah.
Yeah, when you hit a climax or action moment, man, does the music come in, and it just makes the anime that much stronger.
And I feel like that's always something that you want to get right with any anime, is just getting the tune to, maybe not so much that you notice it, but so that it gets you, it gets your blood going, it gets your heart beating kind of thing, and it just starts raising your awareness, that you just start getting into it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like music adds a whole other level to every medium that you watch. When you're watching a cartoon or an anime or a movie, it just, by adding music, it adds another layer or level of enjoyment. And I think that if having bad music is worse than having none, and having great music is the best overall, I guess is the way to put it.
Well, yeah, it adds an entire new dimension there. If you don't have the music to help set the mood, it really makes things, every theme stronger, just because it's oh shit's going down right now. I can tell why, because of the music.
The music started playing, the guitar riffs are coming.
And then you just get excited just from hearing the music. Like it could be a complete stare down, and you're excited because the music is just on point, and making you feel tense, and it's just amazing when shows do that right.
I'll say that's something this No Game No Life did was it got the music on like perfect key with the rest of it, but I feel like that's what like a lot of anime do is they just like you don't see that in a lot of like other types of shows like the music really doing too well, but in anime itself it's just it's like hand in hand. You can't have a good one without some good music in the background.
What you mentioned is Kyle is the sort of like symbiotic relationship the two main protagonists have. Like you said previously, in a lot of anime that have two protagonists or two leads, often one person is the stronger lead than the other person. But in this particular case, No Game No Life, it's very, very symbiotic, and not as
not as main character and sidekick.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good word for it.
Yeah, like there's other animes where they have the duo, and you just kind of relate to one more than the other, or something like that. You just kind of lean. You're like, all right, well, this one's my favorite. But in No Game No Life, I really did like both main characters almost equally. Like it felt like they had the one brain, two bodies. They were just that well with it. Like they just worked that well with each other. They were just so on key with each other.
And I was going for parasitic because symbiotic is both people benefiting, and a parasitic relationship is one person benefiting.
That's true. That's true. Speaking of parasitic,
it's literally true.
Speaking of parasitic, so I wanted, when we were trying to figure out if there was going to be a second season of this or not, I was trying to look up the production company that makes this. So if you want a fucking history of this company, it's Madhouse, by the way. The things that they've made most recently: One Punch Man, My Love Story, Death Parade, Overlord, and Parasite the Maxim.
Oh shit! I was like, "Where's this Parasite?"
Yeah, like the shit they've been making has just been awesome.
Yeah, this is a crazy good studio.
And then I forgot that I had made the Parasite thing, and I went backwards, so I ended on Parasite.
No, you handled it.
He had it ready for you.
Yeah, that was
masterfully
masterfully crafted. I would have, I would have believed you if you didn't say any of the stuff. Like I totally forgot. I would have been like, yeah. That was planned, calculated.
No, but the studio has a good track record of making awesome and very noteworthy anime. So No Game No Life is just another one of their greats. That's in,
definitely. Exactly. I would agree with that.
Another trophy on the shelf for them.
Another thing I really liked, like the thing that you mentioned, Jason, was there are some tropes / stereotypical, like this is an anime cat person, but there are also different varieties of or races of people, and the way they divide those races is super interesting as well. Like I really like how everything kind of ties into the theme of the game, which is, or the world, which is the game theme.
One thing that I felt No Game No Life did interestingly too is like you discover all these other races and groups of humanoids that exist in this world, but you actually get a little bit of backstory too that kind of explains how certain groups became the more powerful ones and things like that, and like it goes into the lore from previous times and things like that actually answered a couple of my questions while I was watching it, because just like Jason, I had to watch it, week by week. So every week you had another question, and it actually did it pretty well, explaining, how certain races just became like more powerful than the others and things like that. Like it didn't really leave a lot out of question for you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the humans are fucked. The humans are fucked in this world. They are the weakest link. They're basically standing. They basically have one city left, and if they lose that city, they no longer have land.
How did it make you feel sad?
And then they no longer have a human country.
Oh,
I feel like.
See, but that's the thing.
Starting from the bottom.
Yeah.
It also kind of made me feel sad. Yeah, it kind of for the humans, for the humans, man.
Yeah, and then they're just
very
screwed.
much
But that's the nice thing about the show, like, yeah, they're starting from the bottom, and these two humans just kind of get invited in, and they're like, all right, let's see what we can do.
Very hero's journey.
The underdog story.
Yeah, that too. I just, it's like, I think maybe an overlying theme is like maybe Tet, that's why Tet sort of quote unquote challenged those humans, not only for the fun of playing games, but because he wanted to bring balance to his world, because technically he is the god of that world.
You think he wanted to bring in, like, the humans' trump cards, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not. He might have still made the offer even if he won, I think. Because that's just some theory crafting on my side, but that's me wanting to see the Tet that brings balance and good, because he seems very apathetic in the show.
Let's say we go off that. Do you think that Sora and Shiro were the first people he challenged? Or do you think he maybe challenged some other people from their original world?
Maybe.
And he never lost?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Maybe he just kept... He went to a dimension or place where humans exist and kept challenging humans until he could find somebody worthy enough to beat him. That could be...
Then he just stumbles across these two.
Yeah, that'd definitely be an interesting, like, backstory. If they do an OVA, that'd be kind of cool. Just have them explore that.
How they came to get discovered. Maybe they weren't as special as we make them out to be. Maybe they really did just win. And that was it.
I think if he challenged other people, they were probably the first people to beat him. And that's about the end of it. That's why I don't think an OVA of that would be all that exciting, because then it would be, hey, look, I beat someone. Hey, look, I beat someone. Hey, look, I beat someone. Hey, I lost. And then...
Yeah.
You feel like he targeted them out because he knew who he was?
But they got really close. Yeah.
I'd be more interested to see on how he rose to power.
Yeah. I mean...
Because he wasn't originally the god
probably
of that
an
world.
origin story of how the world was thrown into chaos and how all the... Also... Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, he took it over somehow.
Yeah, like, there was, like, these huge wars and shit between all the races. Like, physical, explodey, boom, shooty wars.
Well, that's the thing. That goes back to some of the lore that they kind of explained.
Yeah, because all the other gods
I don't know if you remember this.
fighting each other.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you remember this, but...
I think that gets explained in, like, the first couple episodes.
That's how, like, it explained a little bit in there how he came to be, like, the only remaining god or something like that. Or just, like, the god of the world. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, like, they were... Like, it explains, like, the whole thing in there. I don't want to give away too much, but... It did explain that. Like, that's what I was going back on, like, how I didn't really have questions. It kind of touched the point. I'm pretty sure it does. Like, because, I mean, the world gets just thrown at you, so it explained a lot right away to get us up to par, if you will.
That's what I loved about this anime. I mean, you could say the reason why it was so concise and to the point is because it was only 12 episodes long, but I still feel like if this anime were 12 episodes longer, it'd still be just as concise based on, like, what Jason said.
Yeah, because I felt like it was kind of fast with the 12 episodes.
I feel like you're right on that. I feel like if they did go 12 more episodes, if we had 24 total, I feel like it would have still gone the same pace that it already has, and it just would have continued farther in the story, and then that's it. We would have just continued to see. But we would have never been... Yeah, I don't think it would ever dragged along too long on one, like, solid subject or something. I feel like it knew its pace, and it just went with it. It was very fast, but not like let's get on with it. It didn't like but, short and sweet, man. Sometimes it works just so nicely, just like No Game No Life did.
And just like us, because we're ending this episode of Making the Rounds, I'm very glad to have both of you back on, and I hope you guys will show up next episode, or some other episode, hopefully.
I mean, I might be around, who knows?
Okay, well, stay tuned, guys. Check us out on YouTube at TFT Productions and TFT Plays and iTunes, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.